Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a step back from the daily hype cycle to do a real deep dive into an absolutely sprawling 20-year roadmap of how artificial intelligence is going to fundamentally shape humanity's future. We're pulling these insights directly from an incredibly revealing recent conversation with OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. We're going to map out the actual trajectory of this tech from the device sitting in your pocket right now all the way to some truly radical scientific breakthroughs.
Okay, let's jump right in with Altman's ultimate vision. Like, what is the actual end goal of all this AI development? When asked what he's ultimately aiming for, his answer had nothing to do with a software update or some corporate revenue target. He literally just said, almost unimaginable prosperity. You see, Altman views human history as this grand process of building scaffolding. Inventing tools to build better tools to build even better tools. He firmly believes that handing AI over to the world is going to unlock individual human potential on a scale we have literally never seen before. We're talking about empowering a 1 or maybe 3-person startup to create immense global value and completely revolutionize our quality of life.
And to really grasp where we're headed, you got to look at where we are right now. Just look at that number, 900 million. That is the number of individual people actively interacting with ChatGPT every single week. It's staggering. Never before in the history of our species have this many people talked to and been influenced by a single technological mind. And honestly, that sheer, mind-blowing volume of human interaction leads us directly into our first major challenge.
Which is Section 1, Shaping the AI Personality.
So with nearly 1 billion people talking to this system weekly, the single biggest immediate impact AI is having on the world right now isn't some crazy biorisk or cybersecurity threat. It's actually much more personal. It's how we program the way this intelligence talks to us. Because here's the thing, people are incredibly complex. You might log in on a Monday morning feeling totally overwhelmed, and you just want an AI that's encouraging, supportive, and gets you through the day. But by Friday, if you're really trying to maximize your long-term career growth, you might actually need some tough love and strict pushback. Right now, we don't really have sliders to perfectly calibrate that. We don't have sliders for the friends in our real lives either, right? But users are starting to rely on AI for deep emotional support, and that creates this massive, heavy responsibility for developers to get the personality exactly right.
So how are they trying to solve this? Well, Altman is going way beyond just consulting software engineers. He's actively bringing in spiritual leaders, clinical psychologists, and experts on human behavior to basically write an instruction manual for the AI. The whole goal is to map out universal human traits. For example, anthropologists have found certain deep biological values that cross literally every culture on Earth. The plan is to align the AI's default personality with those universal traits, so it actively maximizes our personal growth, our accomplishments, and just our general enjoyment of life.
All right, moving on to Section 2, the future of human work.
We've all seen the doom and gloom headlines loudly proclaiming that AI is going to permanently wipe out half of all human labor. But if we take a step back and trace major technological shifts throughout history, we see a really clear recurring pattern. Whether it's the printing press or the launch of the iPhone App Store or the current AI boom, jobs don't just vanish into thin air. They shift, they evolve, and they multiply. Altman points out that developers using current AI models are getting things done in 1 hour that would have taken them weeks just 2 years ago. But instead of working less, they're reporting being busier than ever. They're literally waking up in the middle of the night just to build more stuff. New tools simply create new ways to build.
But let's play devil's advocate for a second. Let's say AI does eventually grant us that mythical 4-hour work week. What happens then? Well, Altman argues that humans possess this deeply ingrained biological drive for struggle. Decades ago, a music producer claimed that synthesizers and music tech had gotten so good there was no need to create anymore. Obviously, he was completely wrong. We are biologically wired to discover new frontiers. So even in a world of total, absolute abundance, humans are going to actively seek out new forms of adversity, new ways to compete, and entirely new things to invent, just to find fulfillment.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, Accelerating Scientific Discovery.
Beyond just writing your emails or coding faster, AI is positioning itself to become the ultimate tool to push past our physical and scientific limits. Early critics totally missed the mark on this. They confidently claim that because AI was basically just a predictive text model, trained to guess the next word in a sentence, it could never generate fundamentally new knowledge. But it turns out prediction is remarkably close to intelligence. By learning to compress and predict the world's data, the AI fundamentally learned how to reason. And that underlying reasoning process has allowed these models to transition from basic chatbots into machines that are literally proving previously unproven mathematical theorems today. And soon, they'll be used to discover entirely new physics.
And we are already seeing the very first sparks of this capability out in the real world. For instance, there's a recent case of an Australian man who used AI to help navigate and actually develop a customized curative mRNA treatment for his dog's cancer. Now imagine scaling that up to human beings. Altman notes that researchers are actively looking at a near future where, if someone gets sick, a lab can use AI to rapidly map out a personalized mRNA vaccine tailored perfectly to their exact unique DNA and specific illness. It's a real game changer.
So how do we accelerate these massive breakthroughs? AI developers are basically pulling three main levers. The first is more compute, literally just building massive data centers and pumping in power. It's the easiest and most highly certain path to making models smarter. It's just incredibly expensive and relies on complex supply chains. Sitting in the middle is better data, which involves things like models generating new proofs and learning recursively. And finally, algorithmic breakthroughs. These are the hardest and most uncertain to pull off, but they offer the absolute highest payoff in raw intelligence.
Okay, let's bring it back to our daily lives with Section 4, Your Personal AI Agent.
So how are you and I actually going to interact with this accelerating intelligence every day? Altman shared this wild anecdote about testing an experimental AI feature on his computer that they initially dubbed YOLO mode. Instead of him having to prompt a chatbot every single time he wanted something, this agent just ran autonomously in the background. It successfully answered his messages, organized his emails, and compiled these auto-completing to-do lists while he literally just sat there and watched. He admitted he originally thought it would feel super intrusive, but within hours the transition was so smooth he didn't even want to close his laptop. He just wanted the AI to keep working for him.
But here's the massive bottleneck we're hitting. Our smartphones are incredible pieces of tech, but they spend most of their time asleep in our pockets. They just aren't designed to absorb the full context of our lives. If you want a personal AGI that can effortlessly recall a random conversation you had 3 days ago, it has to be present. So the tech industry is in this massive rush to design entirely new consumer hardware. The challenge, and it's a big one that top designers are trying to figure out right now, is creating an always-listening, context-aware device that operates flawlessly without giving users that creepy dystopian ick factor.
Now let's zoom out a bit for Section 5, AI in the physical world.
Because think about it. As the AI's digital brain becomes flawlessly intelligent, it's inevitably going to need a physical body to interact with the real world. We live in a physical universe. Microchips have to be manufactured. Power plants have to be run. Data centers have to be built. If we don't figure this out, we face what Altman calls a very sad nightmare scenario. Imagine an omnipotent AI that can design the absolute perfect clean energy grid or the ultimate data center, but it doesn't have arms or legs. In that dystopian scenario, human beings are basically reduced to acting as the physical actuators for the machine. We'd just be running around as delivery drivers and construction workers, moving tables and plugging in cables on the AI's command. No thank you.
To completely avoid that nightmare, Altman stresses there is an urgent, immediate need to advance robotics. And the goal here isn't just to build a cool humanoid robot to do backflips. It's the creation of highly automated manufacturing plants. We need factories where the robots possess the same general intelligence as ChatGPT, allowing them to dynamically reconfigure themselves to build literally whatever physical infrastructure the AI or humanity requires next.
And that brings us to our grand finale. Section 6, a future of radical prosperity. This is the ultimate destination of Altman's roadmap for humanity. During the interview, Altman was actually subjected to this blind ranking of humanity's greatest historical inventions, and he confidently put artificial intelligence firmly at the #1 spot. He ranked it above the printing press, and profoundly, he outranked even the discovery of fire. He argues that while fire gave us cooking, warmth, and eventually the steam engine, AI is a general-purpose technology that, 1,000 years from now, will be viewed as having done far, far more to advance the totality of human existence.
He believes that by avoiding the centralization of power and handing humans the ultimate tool of creation, we are going to unlock radical human agency. This isn't about us just sitting idle while machines do everything. It's about pushing humanity out of the wilderness once and for all. With this tech, we start moving beyond earthly constraints. We're talking dreaming up floating trains, flying cars, and eventually expanding outward to build actual space colonies.
Which leaves us with this final, huge question. As we stand right now on the absolute edge of this incredible technological shift, the true power of AI isn't simply what it's going to automatically do for us. The real question is, in a future where you have an intelligence that can help you build literally anything you can imagine, what new frontiers will you choose to explore next? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I hope this roadmap sparks some amazing ideas for you.